Hello there, my name is Martin Henley. This is the Effective Marketing Content Extravaganza, and if you're new around here, you won't know that I'm on a mission to give you everything you need to be successful in your business, providing, of course, what you need to be successful in your business is to know more about and to be more enthusiastically implementing sales and marketing in your business, which is, of course, what you need if you're going to be more successful in your business. So what goes on here is I bring you the series. I am busting marketing jargon. Melanie Farmer is here every 2 weeks. We look at the marketing news and how it might impact your lives. I bring in anyone I can find with experience to share that will help you to be more successful with your business as part of the Talk Marketing series. And I'm reacting to the very best and the very worst of marketing content on the internet, which is what today is about. Today is reaction time. So there is a little bit of Jeopardy here. What goes on is that Clay has lined us up with 6 potential videos. I've got no idea what those videos are. We select them randomly at random.org by rolling the dice. And if we roll the dice, we will get number 5. So what happens then is we go to Milanotes and we go to number 5 and we copy that. And then what happens is we go to the World Wide Web. We put that into the search bar and that takes us to
people. Brand image is one of the most essential and...
Okay, sorry. I know what it is already. I don't really know what it is. But you will know what it is very shortly because we are going to. It is, how did Johnnie Walker keep walking for more than 200 years? Marketing case study. Oh, and it's these guys at Think School. I really like these guys. Okay, super cool. So, how did Johnnie Walker keep walking for more than 200 years? Marketing case study. Now, we have a little bit of previous here because it seems like we're doing all the zero value. What are we doing? We did smoking. We did Coca-Cola. So we've kind of got a little bit previous here. I think we're only on number 10 of these, and we've done like 3 brands that don't deliver. What do I want to say? I don't want to get sued. I want to say that it's not obvious the benefit that they're delivering in terms of cigarettes and Coca-Cola. I think Johnnie Walker, I think customers of Johnnie Walker would say that this is a great product that delivers real value. I'm sure there are lots of people who enjoy a finger or two of Johnnie Walker at the end of the day and really like it and would say that it benefits their lives. And I wouldn't argue with those people. I think that's okay. But it's interesting because we're talking about sustainability. How did Johnnie Walker keep walking for more than 200 years? Let's see what they have to say. These guys at Think School are geniuses. Love these guys.
And perhaps the most difficult aspect of marketing. It takes years to build a brand image, costs you $1 million, sometimes even $1 billion. And if not done right, it could even kill a century-old brand. And especially when it comes to the spirit business, brand image is so crucial that it can literally make or break your business. However, Johnnie Walker is one of those brands that has practically mastered the art of brand communication, and the legacy of Johnnie Walker has continued for 200 years. And this legacy makes Johnnie Walker a marketing masterpiece to learn from. What started out as an obsession for consistent tasting whiskey by a grocery boy then went on to become a business empire that has spanned for 4 generations and scaled across 180 countries. But after 150 years of being the most popular whiskey brand in the world, by the end of the 20th century, Johnnie Walker faced one of the most difficult challenges faced by every age-old brand, and that is identity crisis. But the way they reacted to this crisis taught the world an incredible lesson in marketing. This is a story that dates back to 1999, wherein within a span of just 3 years, Johnnie Walker saw a disastrous decline in sales by 14%. And when the board actually dug in to find out what exactly was wrong, they discovered that Johnnie Walker had 27 campaigns running all across the world. Each of these campaigns had a different message, and the brand really had no substantial image of itself. Apart from this, the mega trend in the 1980s and 90s was inclining towards wine and vodka. and the popularity of whiskey as a drink fell drastically among the American consumers. And this mega trend led to a 20% decline in whiskey sales volume. This is when the parent company of Johnnie Walker, Diageo, stepped in, and they brought together an amazing team of marketeers just so that they can understand how can they revive the brand and build a brand image that can stand tall in the modern age. And guess what? The campaign that they designed turned out to be so magical that within the next 15 years, it turned Johnnie Walker into a $2.2 billion brand. And not just that, the slogans of Johnnie Walker became so popular that they became a part of the pro-democracy protest. The question is, what was so amazing about this campaign, and how did a whiskey tagline go on to inspire a protest slogan?
Okay, so this is interesting because I always just think these brands have been around forever. There is an issue with localization, where brands have to invest locally to reach local markets. Like the idea that they might have had 27 different campaigns running. Like for me, brand is all about consistency. So you have to be consistent across all of those campaigns, or else you will end up suffering. And I was around in the 80s and 90s. And I mean, I don't know because I'm not in the industry. But I do remember things changing. You know, we used to go to a wine bar. We only ever went to pubs before. So, yeah, it's interesting like that. I'm excited to know what this campaign was.
The answer to this question lies in the super intense market research done by Johnnie Walker marketers. And after doing a detailed...
This is the key. Know your market. Really, 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 really know your market and your customers.
...survey, they realized that there were three major problems with the brand. Number one, whiskey was being viewed as an old man's drink, because of which the youth did not connect with any whiskey brand in general. Secondly, all across the world, since they had 27 campaigns running parallelly, each one of them had their different message, because of
I'm not sure that parallelly is a word.
Which no one had any clear idea about what exactly is the brand persona of Johnnie Walker. For example, everybody knows that Nike is all about being bold and pursuing greatness. Apple is all about being different and being creative. Tesla is all about the future and going green. But Johnnie Walker did not have anything concrete associated with it. And third and most importantly, the narrative of the marketing message was just self-obsessed, and it almost looked like bragging. It was all about, we, the Johnnie Walker, are the most awarded scotch in the world. We, the Johnnie Walker, have an heritage of 150 years. We, the Johnnie Walker, are a premium brand, and so on and so forth. And this narrative developed a disconnect with the audience. So you know what? The marketers of Johnnie Walker took three radical steps which redefined Johnnie Walker to the world. Number one, they killed all their campaigns and put together a team that would work specifically on communicating just one core message. And they said, instead of pleasing everybody, let's just stand by our core values and appeal to only a limited segment of people who would believe in what we believe. Secondly, they changed the
targeting, great. And if it's going wrong, I mean, that's kind of brave, but if it's going wrong, you should stop always. I've had this conversation with, who did I have this conversation with? I've had this conversation a number of times on the talk marketing thing, whereas people make the analogy between like driving a car and driving a business, and they make that analogy.
The striding man himself.
Well, let's ask you to stop. The difference is, like, if your car's not working great, what everyone does is slow down, stop, check it out. You know, if your business isn't running great, what everyone does is put their pedal to the metal and go as fast as they possibly can. Like, if we could just do more of this, more of this, more of this, then it will resolve itself. It's not true. Like, actually, if something's not working, you're better off just not doing it, just stopping completely. Then you are continuing to do something that's not working. And this is why this persistence in business thing really annoys me. Like, they talk about Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it was the 82nd retailer that agreed to sell Colonel Sanders Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like, really, if 80 people had said, no, your chicken's not that great, your chicken's probably not that great. You know, KFC, you know, whatever you think about KFC. But persisting with something that isn't serving you is 100% a bad idea. If you take anything away from this video, take it from me. If it's hurting you, if it's making a funny noise, if anything is going wrong in your business, slow down and try and work out what it is. Don't just throw more and more and more customers' time, energy, money at it in the hope that it will resolve itself. It never does. 20% of businesses are going out of business every year, and I think that's part of the reason. Let's go back to Think School. Really like these guys. I've not got much to say about this. I'm just really interested to hear what they're saying.
And instead of the old cartoon figure who was full of personality, wit and charm, they decided to rebuild it into something more modern, something more minimalistic and sleek. This was done just so that it could appeal to a younger audience. And last and most importantly, the most crucial step that they took was to change the narrative of the marketing message. That is, instead of talking about themselves, they said, let's talk about you, the customers. Instead of coming out with their own ideas and assumptions about masculinity, they directly went and spoke to their ideal customers. That is, men of the age of 25 to 35. Now, this was a huge survey that was conducted all across the world just so that they could understand what is their audience idea of success. And this gave them a golden insight. While most brands assume that men are lured by materialistic success, like having a fancy car or a rich lifestyle, the marketeers of Johnnie Walker discovered that more than the external success, it was the inner sense of progress, the inner confidence that their customers valued the most. And the fact that, to a man, whiskey was an embodiment of his own personality. And they always want to hold on to something that represented what they truly believed in. And all of this boiled down to one key marketing message, and that is to keep walking in spite of the obstacles.
You see, ask people. They will tell you. They 100% will tell you. I mean, this is such genius. But I mean, they're not so obvious, but also genius. Because, I mean, the obvious is ask people what they want to buy. And the thing is, I think most often, the thing that people want to buy is so much simpler than the thing you're trying to sell them. And the reason they're going to buy it is so much simpler than the 50 reasons that you've come up with. So just talking to people is such an insanely good idea. And then the idea that this is just, it's like people associate, like people are defined by their brands. They're defined by the computers they use, by the phones they use, by the cars they use, by where they buy their underpants. It makes up a big part of people's personality. And I know people who love whiskey. I know people who will have 20 bottles of whiskey and will delight in bringing all 20 bottles of whiskey to a party and having us all taste the different types and establishing your own preferences. So there is like this culture of taste. But if you've established that your brand makes up a part of, or the brand of whiskey that you drink is a part of your personality, that you get in the habit every day of having one or two fingers of Johnnie Walker as opposed to Jack Daniels or Jameson's or whatever the other brands are, that's genius. People are going to keep coming back. And what did they do? They didn't have to change their product. They didn't have to change the mechanisms of marketing. They just did their targeting. Like if you're targeting old men, or if your market is old men, your market's dying. Like literally your market is dying. So shift the focus to another market that is much healthier and not less likely to die. Ask them what it is that they want. Just ask them. They will tell you. They will tell you. And then be the thing that they want to buy. And the beauty of this, obviously, is that it came into the walking narrative. When was this? Was this around the time of Nelson Mandela's long walk to freedom? Like it's all about the journey. All of these things kind of work. But keep walking and you'll find success. Love that. Absolutely love that. Love Think School. They're brilliant at this.
And that is what, ladies and gentlemen, inspired the iconic Keep Walking campaign. And this campaign did not speak a word about whiskey. Instead, it spoke obsessively about the customers. Instead of saying, we are the most awarded scotch, we have a heritage of 100 years, their marketing message said, if you have the spirit to deal with the obstacles of your life, if you believe in achieving greatness in spite of the pitfalls, if you believe in becoming a better version of yourself every single day, let us be your companion to keep you walking. Johnnie Walker, keep walking. And they featured the stories of great individuals like Lincoln's quote in the print magazine to depict the fact that Lincoln kept walking in spite of all the obstacles in life, only to become a legendary president. In media, they featured the great footballer Roberto Baggio, wherein he overcame his nightmare of missing the penalty at the 1994 World Cup final. And guess what? Soon enough, the campaign was on fire. Within the next few years, Johnnie Walker went from having a sales decline to seeing a tremendous sales increase by almost 100% in the next 15 years, wherein they sold 19 million 9-liter cases as compared to just about 10 million in 1999. This is how, ladies and gentlemen, Johnnie Walker established a legacy in advertising, and since then, they have constantly brought along new derivatives of their Keep Walking campaign. And these campaigns range all the way from topical to historic events, just so that they could keep striking a chord with the audience. And one of the Keep Walking campaigns held in Brazil in 2011 had become such a symbol of perseverance and determination that when the Brazil protests erupted in 2013, people turned the Keep Walking slogan into Keep Fighting and held the slogan to state their determination to achieve change. And apart from the woke image, Johnnie Walker is now so keen.
I'm not sure about that. It's only 2 words. Like, is there actually proof that they got that idea, keep fighting, from Johnnie Walker's Keep Walking? I don't know about that. It seems a bit tenuous to me.
On catching up with the new age marketing strategies, that they are one of the first spirit brands to experiment with social media and influencer marketing strategies. And this move speaks volumes about how much they have learned as a brand from their own mistakes. Now, there are 3 very important lessons that we need to take out of this Johnnie Walker case study. Number 1, perceived value is underrated. If you take a step back, you will realize
100%. It's all about the customer's perception. If the customer perceives they're getting value, they're getting value. It's as simple as that. And we are never going to understand the value as suppliers, as brands, as whatever, because we don't need it. We've got it already, so we're never going to get that. So perceived value, 100%, is all of the value. Like, your customer's opinion on your products is the only opinion that counts.
That I did not speak a word about how Johnnie Walker was trying to make their whiskey more tastier or smoother. The entire turnaround was brought along not because Johnnie Walker tasted better, because it's still the exact same whiskey served in the exact same bottle that was sold 100 years back. The only thing that changed was the story of the brand that turned its tables around, eventually made $1 billion. Lesson number 2. No brand is too big to falter. You might have a 200-year-old legacy. You might be spread across 180 countries. But if you do not pay attention to the fundamental truths of consumer perception, it is only a matter of time that you would go from an icon to being a forgotten icon. Unfortunately, Old Monk is a standing example of the same. And last,
Okay, I've never heard of Old Monk, so I don't know about that. But it's true. Like, actually, let me stop that. I think actually, the big challenge for big brands is to, the example we all cite if we're from the UK is Ratner's. Once you've built this one big thing, then the danger is you've just built a big target, and you can fragment it and the whole thing just shatters. So yeah, I think the mission of brands is how do they keep their brands fresh? And this is why the brand spends so much on brand marketing, and this is why small businesses should spend much more on brand marketing, because actually what you really want to do is associate yourself with your customers and establish your ongoing value that you add in their lives. That's why. And I think that's the mission. Like, actually staying relevant is the mission, especially if you're a 150-year-old, 200-year-old brand like Johnnie Walker.
Every marketer needs to understand that every consumer, knowingly or unknowingly, looks for a product that is an embodiment of his or her own personality.
100%.
And the job of the marketer is not to tell the story of the brand, but to tell the story of the consumer himself.
100%.
Because at the end of the day, The perception of the brand is nothing but the reflection of the customer's personality. And hence, the narrative must always be about the customer and not about the company. This is how, ladies and gentlemen, Johnnie Walker taught the world an incredible marketing lesson on how to build a timeless brand. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please hit the like button in order to let the YouTube algorithm know that you learned something valuable. And for more such insightful business case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on Friday. Bye-bye.
Okay, 100%. I think the thing that I've learned is, like, I didn't know that Johnnie Walker was a Scotch. I thought Johnnie Walker was a bourbon and an American. So let me just check that. Is Johnnie Walker a Scotch? Johnnie Walker is a brand of Scotch whiskey now owned by Diageo. Okay, so that's cool. I'm glad we cleared that up, mainly in my mind. What do I think? I think it's true. You know, make your customer the hero of your story, of your narrative. Do that. It's so much easier. Like, so many businesses are trying to project their idea of the value that they offer, and they've got no clue. How could they? Like, if you're in business, you're essentially in the business of resolving issues that your customers have. And if you have those issues, you can't resolve them for your customers. So you must know you don't suffer from those issues. So this is really, really important, really, really valuable. I think these Think School people do a fantastic job of this. We should check what people are saying in the comments, because this is always interesting. So people are saying things like, disclaimer all, this is only an educational video, no way promoting or supporting the consumption of alcohol. Well said. Channel is growing like hell, and yeah, probably one day I would be telling the brand success of Think School and the mastermind Ganesh Prasad, that's his name. The case study is really well researched and presented in an effective manner, just like all the other case studies. Every time I watch a new video on the channel, I feel learned, motivated, and inspired. Keep doing the good work, Ganesh. Yes, do it, man. How ironic a whiskey brand tagline is keep walking when people after drinking it struggle to do so. Yes, Raghav. Okay, so there's not really much. I've been a regular consumer of Johnnie Walker for over 2 decades and could connect so well with it. Ganesh, do make a video on Old Monk rum and its strategy of not marketing it, yet becoming an iconic brand. P.S. Old Monk is my winter love. Hey, Think School, I love your videos and recommend them to all my colleagues too. Just wanted to say you should also do case studies on billion-dollar companies that went bankrupt or something along these lines. That would be interesting. That will probably turn up on our list at some point in the future. So, interesting. How did Johnnie Walker keep walking after they were struggling a little bit? Really good video. Think School. Go like and subscribe to Think School. You don't have to wait for me to find it on these lists. I think that would support you to be more successful in your business. So if you've been here, if you found this interesting or useful, you know that you should be liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, doing all of those good things. You could head across the Effective Marketing Company website and you could subscribe there, and you will get this marketing goodness in your inbox every single day. Thank you so much for being here, and we will look forward to you being here again sometime in the near future. Goodbye.